You're staring at a wall of options and wondering if an 85-inch TV is really worth the space, the price tag, and the effort of setting it up. You've probably heard the hype about Mini-LED, 144Hz refresh rates and a enhanced picture processing, but you also worry about ending up with a massive screen that looks good on paper and then disappoints when you actually try to watch a game, a movie, or just your kids' cartoons in a bright living room. I get that hesitation. Nobody wants to spend a chunk of their budget on a TV that turns out to be more of a decorative piece than a functional upgrade. So before you click add to cart, let's walk through what this Hisense 85-inch U6 Pro actually does in the real world, where it shines, or it falls short, and who should seriously consider it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the size. An 85-inch panel is a commitment. It's the kind of screen that can dominate a small apartment if you're not careful, but in a dedicated home theater room or an open-plan space with a viewing distance of at least 1,012 feet, it becomes an immersive canvas. Most people who buy this size are looking to replace a projector setup, upgrade a family room centerpiece, or get a dedicated gaming station that feels like a console-level experience. If you're planning to sit just a few feet away, the pixel density will start to feel a bit soft, especially in close-up scenes, so make sure your room layout can accommodate the viewing distance. What really sets this model apart from a standard LED is the Mini-LED backlight combined with Hisense's Hi-QLED panel. In practice, that means deeper blacks than a regular LED, and brighter highlights that hold up even in a sunlit room. I've seen similar Mini-LED panels struggle with blooming around bright objects, but the U6 Pro's local dimming zones are fine-tuned enough that the halo effect stays subtle during most HDR movies. When you fire up a Dolby Vision title on a compatible streaming app, the contrast feels punchy, the night sky looks truly night, and the sunrise scenes have that extra pop you normally only get on much pricier OLEDs. The native 144Hz refresh rate is another headline that begs a question: does it actually matter for the average viewer? If you're a competitive gamer who plays fast-paced shooters or sports titles, that higher refresh can translate to smoother motion and a marginal edge in reaction time. The TV's motion processing, labeled Motion Rate 480, adds interpolation to reduce judder, which is great for watching action movies or sports where you want fluid movement without sacrificing detail. On the downside, the interpolation can introduce a soap opera effect if you leave it on for cinematic content, so you'll want to toggle it off for film night. One practical strength that often gets overlooked is the built-in subwoofer. Most large-screen TVs push the audio out to an external soundbar or a receiver, but the U6 Pro includes a respectable low-frequency driver that fills a medium-sized room with enough bass to feel impactful without drowning dialogue. It won't replace a dedicated surround sound system, but for casual viewing and gaming, it lets you keep the setup simple. The downside is that the subwoofer's output can become a bit muddy if you crank the volume past 70%, especially with low-budget external speakers that can't handle the extra bass. The anti-reflection, glare-free coating is a genuine convenience. I placed this TV on a wall that catches morning light, and the screen stayed readable without needing to dim the room or reposition the couch. That's a real win for households where you can't control the lighting, like a bright kitchen or a living room with large windows. However, the coating does add a subtle matte texture that can slightly reduce the perceived sharpness compared to a glossy screen when you sit close. It's a trade-off: you gain consistent visibility in bright conditions but lose a tiny bit of crispness in a dark, controlled environment. Design-wise, the unibody slim frame looks sleek, and the TV sits close to the wall without a massive bezel. Installation is straightforward if you're comfortable mounting a heavy panel. The unit weighs over 100 pounds, so you'll need a sturdy wall mount rated for the weight. The remote is the usual Hisense smart controller with voice command integration for Alexa, which works well for turning the TV on, adjusting volume, or launching apps without digging for the remote. The built-in Fire TV platform gives you access to a massive library of streaming services, but it does mean you're stuck with Amazon's app ecosystem. If you prefer Roku or Android TV's layout, you'll have to use an external stick. Now, who should actually buy this? If you already have a decent sound system, a dark home theater room, and you love the idea of a massive, high-contrast display for movie marathons, the U6 Pro is a solid contender. Its Mini-LED panel delivers HDR performance that rivals higher-priced brands, and the 144Hz panel offers smooth motion for both gaming and sports. It also makes sense for gamers who want